HOA corruption stories there are about fraud, about corruption. If you just Google it or YouTube, you can find way too many stories out there. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we want to talk about HOAs, Homeowners Association. I know this is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. A lot of people have had their issues with HOAs, and we want to dive into how HOAs came to be, what are the pros, what are the cons of HOAs, and if it's actually something that's right for you. It's crazy to me how many HOA corruption stories there are about fraud, about corruption. If you just Google it or YouTube, you can find way too many stories out there. Some of the ones that really stood out to us was one about the HOA board members. So they actually were collecting, of course, the funds from the HOA community, and they were actually funneling these funds to their own personal companies. They just created these companies and would just collect the funds there. And of course, they could just write that these companies were doing maintenance and all that. But luckily, this was taken down, and this was a really big story that happened. And there just has been a numerous amount of these types of stories. It's just crazy to me how a lot of these HOAs can get away with it. Homeowners Association, or HOAs, have actually existed since the 19th century with the rise of planned communities and suburban development. But it wasn't until the 20th century with the housing boom post-World War II that it really became more popular. So the developers, they actually saw an opportunity with HOAs that they could create more of a cohesiveness and uniformity in their planned communities. And later on, they started having more responsibilities, like making sure that everybody's lawns have been properly mowed, and just maintaining common areas and enforcing the standards that they wanted for these communities. Nowadays, HOAs have many more responsibilities, and we want to dive into these topics more with you and to give you a better understanding what HOAs are supposed to do. I definitely believe that this is not for everybody, so stick around to the end of the video so you can see if this works for you. So usually when you live in an HOA community, you're supposed to pay fees. So these fees usually are to pay for the maintenance, whether it's landscaping, if there's a pool, for basically most, if not all, the amenities within the community. And it's also to enforce whatever they expect from each resident in the community. Now, this helps in a way because it keeps the property value. Every house has to look very pristine, very uniform, and it is, of course, very visually attractive to live in a community that does look very beautiful, very well maintained, and of course, it is a better lifestyle for the residents if they have their parks maintained, their pools maintained, and all of these amenities that you expect to use when you're living in a community. Now, there are a lot of downsides to this. A lot of HOAs are very strict. They have a lot of strict rules. So for this, I would say if you're planning to move or buy a house, definitely read the fine print. You need to know what you're getting yourself into and if it's something that's going to make sense for you. Another thing is that HOAs, for the most part, they're allowed to increase the fees at any time. Of course, this is to cover if there were any extra expenses or any new maintenance fees that are coming up. But either consider joining the HOA board or get involved in attending the community meetings so you're better equipped to understand what's going to happen in the community, if there are going to be any changes, or even maintenance fees are going to go up. You can always voice your opinions, but of course always in a very respectful way and in a way that you and your fellow community can understand each other, and the HOA can also understand you. Certain states have actually started fighting back and implementing stricter laws against HOAs. For example, here in Texas, they started enforcing multiple bids if there are any contracts that are over $50,000. Another thing is that budget adjustments must be approved in an open public meeting. HOAs can still report you to credit report agencies. However, they now must pay the bill, which motivates them to resolve directly with the homeowner.